Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the HR TailorMade live series Conversations with Consultants. I am surprising you today, and I'm going live tonight instead of tomorrow because I had somebody that I wanted to share with you all, and she wasn't going to be available tomorrow. So I said, you know what? It's my business. It's my live. We can go live whenever we want to. So you are in for a treat. I get to introduce someone to you that I really, really enjoy. But before we get to that, I am Dr. Tiffany Slater, your host, and I am the CEO of HR TailorMade. HR TailorMade is the HR solution for small organizations. And with these conversations, we hope to make it very clear that you don't have to wear all of the hats in your organization because there's so many amazing consultants and people out there that want to help us. And by the way, they're so much better at these things than we are. So I am excited to introduce you all to someone that I have just grown to adore through my partnership or relationship with Sister Biz. And she is a social media guru and marketing maven, Sheila Ellis-Glasper of SEG Media. Welcome, Sheila.
Hello, Dr. Tiffany. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Well, good. Well, I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to join me this evening, and I thought that the conversation that we've been having over the last several weeks on several fronts, I thought that this would be a good opportunity for us to really share some of the things that I've been pulling away from our conversations with the audience. So let's start here. Who the heck are you and what do you do?
Okay, well, I am Sheila Ellis-Glasper, and I am the founder and CEO of SEG Media Collective.
Mhm.
We are a social media management and branding agency. And we are based out of the Little Apple, Manhattan, Kansas, serving clients nationwide. And I'm just so happy to be here.
Well, good. Well, I'm so happy that you are able to join me. So I've got a ton of questions for you, Sheila. And if at any point you want to take the conversation to um, another direction, feel free. We're just having conversation, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So why don't we start here, Sheila? How did you get started with your business? At what point did you say, "I want to be a business owner, and this is what I want to do"?
Wow. So I guess the Cliff Notes version of that is that my degree, I graduated from Kansas State University with my degree in journalism, and I went into reporting. And I thought that that was going to be my world. I thought that reporting was going to be my thing. I was so passionate about it. I had my first son. I got married, had my first son, and my whole life changed. And I did not want to chase crime anymore and be the crime night reporter that I was grinding in that career. And I made a switch actually into entrepreneurship. And I started a jewelry company where I handmade all of the jewelry. It was inspirational jewelry, and our motto was "Make a Faith Statement." And I absolutely loved that business. It was my very first business. I learned firsthand how to build a brand from nothing, how to gain followers on social media that would convert into customers, how to, create a product, ship it all over the world, create a brand, get brand endorsements from celebrities. I was doing all of my own advertising at the time. This was almost 10 years ago. Instagram was new. So I was in the battlefield just learning all of it. Firsthand. And that was my first experience in actually with business. And from there, I actually found a passion for marketing. So I actually started working at Kansas State University, which is my alma mater, as the social media manager there. And I managed social media for this Division I institution, and I learned a ton in that process. I took a side gig as a consultant with the Small Business Association, and that's when I found my passion for working with small businesses.
Mm.
And then I was able to transition full time into my work with SEG Media because my actual clients that I had with the SBA, all I could do was create the strategy for them. I could not actually implement for them. And so that was frustrating for the client and for me too, because there's only so much I could do to help them. And I said, okay, we've got a business here of actually doing social media management. So I started SEG Media Collective 5 years ago through that process.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You had a lot happen in I would say a rather a short amount of time. And I love how you took your passion and turned it into your business, and you found it along the way. So I just really I love that, and I applaud you for being courageous. So many of us know that we love something, know that we're good at something, but we are afraid to take the leap. And so I applaud you for doing that. You did it a couple times.
Yeah, I've been evolving over this past decade, from when I graduated college all the way up until now. And so I feel like all the experiences, that I've gone through and changes that I've gone through in this past decade has prepared me for where I'm at today. And so
Yes.
I'm still learning and growing.
I love it. I love it. Well, Sheila, let's talk about marketing. Okay. So, what is the biggest challenge that you've seen small business owners struggle with as it relates to marketing and then as it relates to holiday marketing?
Okay. So I think really the top struggle or challenge is branding.
Mhm.
Um, I think branding is such a buzzword. It's a sexy word. So people don't really truly always understand what it takes to build a successful brand. And people will start a business and they'll neglect to invest in their branding. And what
Mhm.
we find as an agency is, someone will come to us and like, oh, we need help with social media. We want you to manage our social media. And then we'll see, oh, your branding, we need to either rebrand or we never really built that brand foundation. And we'll have to kind of, take some steps back and help them create that because there's only so much we can do on social media when we don't have a strong brand foundation. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how we fell into branding as well, because we kind of did it out of necessity for our clients. And through that, we found that we love that. And it's such a foundational piece of any business.
Mhm.
So that was the first thing that I would say. And then also with holiday marketing, I would say we're actually in the middle of a mastermind with
Yeah.
Sister Biz, and that's how Dr. Tiffany and I know each other. Is we're both members of
Mhm.
Sister Biz Global Network, and we're in the holiday marketing mastermind right now. And if I kind of reflect over our past two sessions, I feel like a big thing that keeps coming up is kind of like not just being able to know what your offer is. What
Mhm.
is that irresistible offer that we are going to give to our target audience? And I think that a lot of times when people want to run ads on Facebook or Instagram, or when they want to do, some email marketing, having that offer is
Mhm.
really important. And a lot of times, that's something that can also get skipped over is
Yeah.
not solidifying what that offer is and making sure that offer is something that your target audience actually want.
Yes, I would agree. Well, let's take it back just a step or so. We see information, we small business owners, we see information all the time about your brand, protect your brand, have a clear brand, blah, 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 brand, brand. What the heck is a brand?
I think in the most simplest form, a brand is how you want people to remember you.
Mm,
And I think that has to do, you could kind of dissect that in multiple ways. Personal branding is a really big buzzword also right now. And
mm,
so when you think about your reputation as an individual, as a person, and how you want people to feel when they think of your name. It's the same with a brand, with a corporate, company brand in your business. How do you want people to feel? If we use HR TailorMade, for example, you use the yellow. That's like one of your main brand colors. Is you've got the yellow, and it's of course grounded in this blue. This darker blue color, which that even color psychology on with the blue and that professional look that darker blue gives for trust and credibility. But then you've got the yellow, which was very strategic. And I'm speaking to this because we've worked together on some projects. And so you've got the yellow, and that's like the joy and the pop of color and the creativity and the warmth that you want people to feel when they work with you. And so that's why, the brand is ultimately how you want people to feel about your company.
Gotcha. That's really helpful. And so how do you ensure that your brand comes through when you're doing holiday marketing?
Yeah. So, I think there's the basic foundations, like what we're talking about with colors and, fonts and just the style of your brand overall, that you would continue to keep that consistency over the holidays. But I think the holidays is an opportunity for us to create some urgency around a specific offer or product or service that we're offering, and just be able to hit our sales goals when it comes to that fourth quarter and closing out. So you are able to really be able to offer something to your audience that you're giving at a limited time. And we talked about this in our mastermind. I do not promote service providers, especially small businesses, to give a deep discount just because it's the holidays. Your big box stores, they have the margins to be able to do that. They can give 50% off. They can do these doorbusters and all these things that we see. But I think it's really important for small businesses and service providers in particular. We have our prices set that way for a reason. And a lot of us don't have that much margin in there to be offering 50% off, because now you're cutting into actual cost. And a lot of us being service providers, that's labor cost. You can't get that back. Right. So, I would definitely encourage people, as service providers around the holidays, to just think of ways that we can, add on something special to a service that we already provide, or bundling or packaging certain services together rather than offering a deep discount.
Yeah. Loud and clear, we hear you. Yes, avoid deep discounts at all costs. It's not necessary. It is not necessary. What would you say is one of the most challenging situations that you've helped small businesses with? And what is your best advice for helping them to avoid it?
I say that you should always be looking to the future with your brand. I think the pandemic and COVID-19 really taught us that, you have to be always thinking about the future, what could happen. A lot of businesses had to shut down for a certain amount of time last spring with everything with COVID. And that was never in the plan on, like, what do we do if we have to shut down for a whole month? Like, what do we do? And also just kind of thinking about what your business looks like on digital media and how you can make things more convenient for your client or customer when it comes to your website and things like that. I think COVID really was a hard pill to swallow for a lot of businesses that weren't thinking in that way, especially our more like traditional brick and mortar businesses, that they're kind of like this build it and they'll come type of mom and pop shops. And that's what we experienced as an agency over the pandemic, is just trying to help those clients understand, like, for example, we have a coffee company and he has 2 locations here in Kansas, and then he roasts his own coffee and he sells it across the nation. Well, the focus has never been on like his his e-commerce side, because he
Mhm.
always, I mean, he had 2 stores making 6 figures, just in-store customers.
Mhm.
But then when COVID hit, it was like, oh no, like we need to make these updates on the website and we need to do this and that. A lot of things that we've already had been talking with the owner about, that he just was kind of comfortable in what he had going on with his business, and he was
Yeah,
comfortable with his
sure.
revenue. He didn't see a need to put that much effort. So we would do a lot of heavy social media promotion, but not a big focus on e-commerce. And when COVID hit, he's like, we want takeout, deliver. We need to have delivery. People need to order online. People need to do this and that. And we're like, yes, we talked about this, and so we were able to help him really quickly. But I think the pandemic just showed us a lot of what we needed to do, and how we needed to have thought ahead. And now, hopefully, people are a little bit more prepared.
Yeah. Well, and Sheila, how did you pivot your business, or how did COVID impact your business?
Yes. So I think we got rid of our traditional office space. We
Mm.
were more of a traditional marketing agency. I think being a young company, I was looking a lot toward my peers in my community, and I was really trying to model, what I saw as success around me. And so I thought I had to have this office, and I had to have my employees in the office and our team there in the office with this, fancy conference room and break room. And I needed all this stuff. And when COVID hit, I have 2 kids, and my oldest son, he had to come home for school. We converted a room in our home into a home office, and so he was doing homeschool, and it was like, what do I need this office for? Because our team was working remotely. So it was kind of like, it really opened up some doors for us, because we are a social media management company. Everything we do is predominantly digital. Why did we need to have a physical office space in the first place? Why did our team need to be working in person? Why could they not work from home? So we took a big pivot last August, and we went 100% remote, and that opened the door for us to be able to leverage co-working spaces when we did need to do something in person. And then we kind of spread our staff out across the United States. So we're not just located in Kansas anymore. We are
Mhm.
located in a few different places. We have a couple of hubs, and it also opened up our clientele to be able to serve clientele in other places as well. So it was really good for our business.
Yeah. I always feel apprehensive about saying that, but it was good for my business as well, because so many organizations are now saying, I think I do need an HR person. And while they can't pay for a full-time person, and a lot of them don't even need a full-time person, they now know that there is an option to have someone on their team that is not sitting in the office with them. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I hear you. So, thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So, Sheila, if people are anything like me and they really don't want to do the marketing,
Mhm.
what advice can you give business owners who are looking for marketing companies, for looking for a marketing team, if you will?
Yeah, I think you really need to. The one thing that I talk to our clients a lot about is, when you're onboarding an agency or a freelancer, some people, they you really have to audit what your needs are. So, we had this talk a couple weeks ago. Is like, a lot of businesses will start out, and they will like hire, okay, we need a logo. So then we get a designer for that. Oh, now we need photos. So we get a photographer for that. Oh, we need video now. We need a videographer. Oh yeah, our website, bring on a web developer. Now we want to run Facebook ads. So then we'll bring on another, like a digital marketer. And oh yeah, we need a copywriter because the copy on our website isn't what we want. And they just continue
Yeah.
to hire, like, people kind of as they need. And then now they're trying to manage this whole team, sometimes of freelancers or different companies. And so I think it's important to, like, as sometimes companies can only afford to go do that one by one, but when you get to a certain level, being able to work with an agency is convenient because now you don't have to be trying to now you're not like the marketing director trying to manage all of this marketing staff
Right.
that you've pieced together. You have, a one point person, usually within an agency or account manager, and they can handle all the pieces for you.
Okay.
And you don't have to like explain your brand over and over to all of these different people. So I think, there are advantages with having an agency, but I also understand not everyone can afford an agency
Yeah.
cost because it's going to be a little bit more because of that convenience. So I think it's a matter of what's going to work best for you and your business and your budget.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't budget out their proper amount for marketing when they're, looking at capital that's needed for their business. And so, for example, typically I tell people you want to save at least 5 to 10% of what your revenue is and
Mm-hmm.
allocate that towards marketing. And, that sounds like a small amount, but it's not depending on what your revenue is. So 5 to 10%, setting that aside for marketing is a healthy marketing budget. When it's lower than that, that's when
Mm-hmm.
you'll start to feel a strain. Because you're not properly budgeting for marketing, and marketing really helps keep the leads coming in and keeps our businesses healthy.
Right. Right. Thank you for that. That's really helpful. That is really helpful. So, Sheila, how can people reach you?
Of course. So you can visit our website. It's seg.media. Or you can contact us on social media as well, of course. So we're on all different platforms on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, a little bit of Twitter, but predominantly Facebook and Instagram. You can find us there and connect with us on those platforms.
Well, thank you so much, Sheila. I
Of
really enjoyed
course.
chatting with you. And thanks again to everyone else for for watching and listening to our conversation. I am Dr. Tiffany Slater of HR TailorMade, the HR solution for small businesses. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter and tune in next week, next Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, because my guest next week is going to be nonprofit CFO Tasha Anderson of the charity CFO. And I'm so excited to introduce you all to her and ask her all of the juicy questions about finances, specifically for nonprofit organizations. So next week's show is really going to be dedicated to all of my nonprofit business or leaders and owners or founders, I should say. So don't forget to send me your questions that you would like for me to ask Tasha or anybody else or anyone else that you want me to interview that you want to hear from. Until next time, be kind to yourself and thank you so much for joining us.